Welcome guys, and it is LSHD Gaming here, and that is right, the director for Star Wars Episode 9 has finally been announced again, because of course they had a previous director, and the new director moving forward is none other than the Episode 7 The Force Awakens director, J.J. Abrams. Now we're going to talk a little bit about whether we think this is a good thing, is it a bad thing, and just our general opinion on it. Let me know in the comments down below what your personal opinion is. Personally, I'm alright with him doing it. I'm quite excited for it. That's because Rian Johnson in Episode 8, we know based on everything that's coming out and based on what Mark Hamill, Daisy has been saying, it feels like the characters are going to do stuff that maybe we wouldn't have, associated with the characters. That was something that Mark Hamill in particularly mentioned, that he looked at stuff and thought, I don't know if Luke would do this, but he's still going through with it. So I feel like Episode 8 is going to be a completely different, The Last Jedi I should say, is going to be a completely different sort of film to any Star Wars film we've ever seen. And I think that eliminates a lot of the worries that people have with J.J. Abrams taking over Episode 9. Now, a lot of people are worried that it's going to be a remastered edition of Return of the Jedi, because of course A New Hope and The Force Awakens were very similar films, and it was almost like a reboot, a new edition of it, and that's what JJ did. He did a very good job of it, and he modernised it, and I thought it was good fun to watch. But I do recognise the similarities, and that's what he did. However, as I said, with Rian Johnson doing Episode 8, I don't feel like there's going to be the possibility for that to be a remastered, because the Episode 8 storyline will take us so far away from anything we have previously seen in Star Wars that I don't think that option is going to be available to JJ. And personally, I don't think JJ would want to do that anyway. I just feel like he was kind of doing that sort of direction to get all the old fans, the new fans, all fans of Star Wars back into the series, into the new trilogy, which perfectly fine. I enjoyed it. Little bit of a worry for me is Kylo Ren. He has to be a badass, and I believe that that's what they're going to try and instill in Episode 8. But J.J. Abrams' direction of him was a little bit whiny at points. That was one of the main complaints that a lot of people had about him as well. I personally loved Kylo Ren, thought he was an absolute badass, but he really needs to up the intensity of him, and I think in Episode 8 that's going to happen again with Rian Johnson. I'm putting a lot on Rian Johnson's shoulders here. I realise that in the trilogy, but I believe in him. I think he could do a really good job. Personally, the only person I could have actually seen other than JJ doing Episode 9 would have maybe been Gareth Edwards, because Gareth Edwards did a fantastic job with Rogue One, and he knew how to make it dark, its own sort of story. Didn't even need lightsaber battles, and each moment felt very impactful. So he would have been another candidate that I would have been looking at. But after recently doing Rogue One, maybe that was a bit of an ass. Maybe he didn't want to do another Star Wars film. Who knows? But anyway, we got J.J. Abrams doing it. Now, that's another thing that I want to touch upon, the lightsaber battles. I just mentioned it. The fact that the Episode 7, The Force Awakens lightsaber battles were a little bit lackluster. It worries me, because I get that they're not fully trained Jedi. We're not looking at like Anakin and Obi-Wan battling it out in something that's so choreographed, even though I do believe that choreographed battles make sense. Now the reason that is, they're both Jedis, they both trained, they know the ways of the art, and they're just, they're going to predict it. Oh, you're doing that. So it should look somewhat choreographed. I thought Episode 7 in particular, there was no choreographed, and it was a lot of just slashing, and I thought, Kylo's had any form of training. He did like one swivel, and then the rest was just pure hacking away. There was no real thing to it. It looked like people that just picked up a sword for the first time. So I'm hoping that the battles and J.J. Abrams' direction of it will be increased. Now, of course, we know we're going to get lightsaber battles. You always do in the in the actual trilogy film. So that shouldn't be a surprise at all. And of course, Mark Hamill's been training as well. He put up there's a little clip online of him just spinning a prop lightsaber, and him saying, let's do the swing, all that sort of stuff. So we can hopefully expect to see Luke Skywalker battling it out again, which I'm looking forward to, because I think once again it'll be a bit more choreographed, and we'll get to see Luke as even more skilled Jedi. Well, I'm hoping, but we will just have to see how Episode 8 goes. But as I said, I have a lot of faith in J.J. Abrams, and I think a lot of the worries that people have about it being a rehash and a remastered edition of previous ones like A New Hope, and now they're going to follow it, and he's going to do a Return of the Jedi finish. I don't think that's going to happen because I don't think episode 8 and what Rian Johnson plans to do with the series will allow that story arc to make any form of sense, and that option will be taken away from JJ. That's not to say that JJ would have done that anyway, as I said. So personally, I think JJ knows the Star Wars series well. He's already directed a film. It was a good film, it was a good one to introduce us, but now I want to see him do his own version of it, his own take, you know, none of this copying from other series, you know, and all this Death Star and all. We don't want, like, versions of Death Stars named other stuff. None of that sort of stuff, please. None of that. We've had enough of that. No. Come on. Okay. I have a lot of faith in JJ. You know, he did the Star Trek series. Big fan. I personally think he could, you know, really nail off and round up the series well. I think that's what he's good at. You know, he's good at finishing, rounding the story off. With him doing episode 7, he knew the direction that they were planning on going in episode 8, because he had to communicate with the directors. They all wanted to come together, speak, so they could get an idea, get the role going. So JJ knew kind of what was going to happen in episode 8, so he's now going into the writing process, and hopefully everything will go well. I personally think it's a good choice. If you weren't going to go with him, I would have probably looked at Gareth Edwards. Maybe a little bit unrealistic since he's just done Rogue One, and he's probably got other projects that I don't even know about because I haven't even checked, which I probably should because I really enjoyed his style of directing, especially for a Star Wars film. But yeah, let me know what you think about J.J. Abrams being announced as the new episode 9 director. Personally, I think it's a good choice. It'd be a good one to round off the series. There are a little bit of worries, but I think episode 8 will kind of eliminate some of those worries, I think, because those options won't be available to him to do rehashes and stuff like that. Hope I'm right. But anyway, let me know what you think, as I said, in the comments down below. And yeah, like, comment and subscribe for more content, and I will see you guys soon. So, bye guys.